Great showing up in Oregon. Talk about it, and then the freshman, a nice performance as well.
Yeah. Both teams, I've kind of talked about the teams working together and kind of packing up, and both teams did a phenomenal job of that this week. The women, if you watch any of the videos during the race, you can see them in groups of 3 and 4 throughout the race, and finishing all pretty close together. So that was great to see, and it really would have been a highlight and phenomenal of them to finish as close as they did together. I think 17 seconds or something like that for 4 or 5 of them, but then the men just came and put 5 in 6 seconds, which is ludicrous. You usually don't see that kind of grouping unless it's like a sub-max effort and you're just like, okay, just stay together and run this certain pace. That just happens to be where we're at with those guys. With Daniel not racing, that group is, there's about 7 to 9 of them that are, I think by the time we get to the conference meet, we'll all be almost interchangeable. I mean, if somebody has a bad day, there's going to be someone else there to just kind of step up.
At this part of the season, your thoughts on how you guys performed? Is it what you expected? Surprise? Or what are your thoughts on up to this point?
Sorry, I did. Shane had a phenomenal race. I didn't address that part. Shane had a phenomenal race, which was great to see because after the Sundowner race, he was laid out for a little bit. He was hurting, and so he kind of took it a little bit easier. We just kind of took a little pressure off him and made sure that he was fully recovered that first week after, and then he started really looking good and just came through with a great race. So that was awesome to see, especially for the freshmen. With the top guy out, there with Daniel not racing, you kind of question like, okay, how are they going to respond to this? Are they going to shrink from it, or is somebody going to step forward? And I knew Elliot would do well, and he really kind of took a risk, and which is why he didn't finish, as far forward as he might have. He kind of took a risk and went for a great performance and gutted it out, despite the fact that he kind of got punished for that, or suffered for it. But for the other freshmen just to kind of step forward and Shane to end up in front is phenomenal. Sorry, what was the last question?
Just at this point, no, at this point of the season, both men and women, it's just, what you expected or surprised or?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I think this is pretty much according to plan. I mean, it's hard to predict. We had a lot of newcomers, and so it's hard to predict how they're going to respond and perform necessarily throughout the season. But there were just so many positive things from this week. It's impossible to remember them all, but I mean, everything is kind of coming together as we would want it to right now. Hannah, who had a really rough time at the Sundowner meet, had kind of a bounce back performance. Sadie had a little bit of a breakthrough on the women's side. Also, Rosa, who's been out, didn't run last year and had a decent track season, but not a great track season. And early season races have been kind of mediocre for her, and she really had kind of a return to form performance. A lot of the women's team was sick really going into the race, and they just gutted it out in spite of that. And even though some of them maybe didn't have their best performance of the year, as far as times and places, I know that the effort was there, and so that was really exciting.
Why didn't Daniel race?
Not really injured, just he's had so many injuries in the past that when anything feels not right, we're just super cautious about it. So with an eye toward him having really good performances later in the season, we just wanted to back it off now, and make sure that we were building momentum into championships and not. We didn't want this to become an injury that we had to kind of go back and forth on and nurse. We wanted to just be super cautious and keep it below the level of actually becoming any kind of an injury.
So is that kind of like a race time decision, or did you guys decide a few days
No,
before?
we decided a couple days before.
Okay.
Yeah, we were. He was kind of feeling it out earlier in the week, and then we decided not to have him do the workout on Wednesday and just to cross train that day, and that was when we were deciding that we'd skip this race. He's fifth year senior. He's plenty experienced. That didn't need another race. He just needs to be feeling confident and 100% going forward for the rest of the season. So.
And for this particular meet, based on the competition and your expectations, how do you think the teams did?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, our women beat Embry-Riddle, and the men were right behind them. They're ranked number 3 in the South region. So if things go to form, they'll be a national qualifying team. So for the women to beat them, and certainly if Daniel was scoring the way we would normally expect him to, we would have handily beat them. That's solid performance for teams that are unranked and 10th ranked in the region. Although I haven't seen the rankings this year. Men are still 10th. Okay.
Same rankings.
So that's just shows how strong our region is for one thing, it shows that our team is performing on a nationally on a level that's pretty respectable, both men and women.
And the women are having the same results pretty much as the men. How come they aren't?
Yeah, well, I don't make that decision, so I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they were sort of a provisional 11th, but they only go 10 deep in the rankings in the region. I think last I saw, there are 5. The top 5 teams were in the region were all from our conference. I don't know if that stayed. And they're all ranked. Last week they were all ranked, I think, in the top 23 or 24 in the nation. So it's on the men's side, it's a tough conference. It's a tough region. So you gotta be good.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Before the season, you said you felt like, even though you graduated some real talented runners, you thought the median of these teams had the potential to kind of place better than they did last season. Has that come to bear for you in your mind?
Well, we'll find out. I still believe that. Yeah. I mean, I think our men are right now sort of ranked 6th in the conference. There isn't really conference rankings, but the 6th team ranked in the region of the conference. I think we can finish at least that high at the conference meet. While the women aren't ranked in the region, I do think that we can even finish in the top 10 potentially. It's a tough region. It's a deep region, and the conference is tough and deep as well. But I still believe that we're better than 7th on both sides in the conference, and potentially top 10 on both sides for the region.